Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to Season 2 of the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone P.U.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching, creator of the Hormone P.U.Z.L.E method, an infertility warrior, two-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptom of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the fields of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now let's get started on your road to transformation. In today's show, we have Dr. Eric Zielinski, or Dr. Z, who is the author of the national bestseller, The Healing Power of Essential Oils and the Essential Oils Apothecary. Dr. Z has pioneered natural living and biblical health education since 2003. Trained as an aromatherapist, public health researcher, and chiropractor, Dr. Z started naturallivingfamily.com in 2014 with his wife to help people learn how to use natural remedies like essential oils safely and effectively. Now visited by more than 3 million natural health seekers every year, naturallivingfamily.com has rapidly become the #1 online source for biblical health and non-branded essential oils education. Today's show is all about essential oils and how to use them to optimize your hormones, fertility, and overall health. I freaking love essential oils, and I cannot wait to teach all of you about their power and their amazingness. So without further ado, I would love to welcome Dr. Z to the show. Hey, Dr. Z, welcome to the show.
Well, Coach Kayla, appreciate you.
Yeah.
And, we're just talking about Atlanta, Nashville, being from the South. I don't have the draw. I know the accent. I'm from Michigan, so that's why I talk the way I do. But I do say y'all. I had to learn. By the way, it's easy. Like all y'all, like I just saved 10 words by saying that,
Right.
Like all you kids get over here. No, it's like, all y'all. Anyway. Right. Yay.
I love it. So tell us a little more about you, how you started working in women's health and, with essential oils and, all of that. Let's hear it.
Yeah. I mean, in the beginning, there was a very broke college student who had a baby at the time, 3 babies actually, studying to be a chiropractor, and a wife who did some odds and ends and was a personal trainer and a group fitness coach and all that stuff to help make some ends meet. And I need money. I did. And so I applied for a scholarship at school. And the scholarship was to write a research paper, a case study on XYZ, right? A chiropractic thing. And I ended up doing it, made a couple bucks, got published in a journal.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah. I was like, wow. And then the sponsor, the head of the research at the school I went to said, hey, I have a couple more for you. I'm like, wow. And he's like, hey, I got another scholarship for you. I just basically went from scholarship to scholarship just to pay the bills. And I fell in love with research. And long story and the short of it, still broke, still trying to make ends meet. I started writing professionally. And one of my clients at the time commissioned me to write a series of public health reports on essential oils. And that was about 8 years ago now. Opened up my whole world. Transformed everything how I looked at natural medicine, because now it was my job. to read hundreds of trials and studies of the therapeutic efficacy that these plant-based compounds can have on various physiological measures like breathing rate, heart rate, blood pressure, you name it, everything. And I was like, wow, like literally inhaling orange essential oil can stimulate serotonin and dopamine, and bergamot can help, stimulate GABA, which is a neurotransmitter with anxiety, and lavender can help with cortisol and reduce the stress hormone. And I'm like, this is medicine. And that was it. I started looking from that moment. I started looking at essential oils as what I believe what it really is. It's plant-based medicine, not just smelly stuff. And quite frankly, I learned they're the basis for all medicine today. And that's really, really, really important for everyone listening right now, myself included, to realize that it's not like Dr. Susie Chemist wakes up in the middle of the night having a dream of figuring out adding hydrogens and carbons and nitrogens together to create a drug. It's not like the chemical structures of drugs are invented in a vacuum. The chemical structures of drugs have their basis at one point or another through plant chemistry, and the perfect example is aspirin. And our ancestors, since the beginning of time, as far as we know, used willow bark because of its analgesic, pain-relieving, anti-inflammatory properties. But there's a chemical, you see, in willow bark. In the salicylate family, it's a salicylin. Well, smart chemists take that, extract it out, mass produce it, put a shiny white coating on it, some preservatives to extend the shelf life. It's called aspirin. It literally is the basis. Essential oils and the compounds in plants are the basis for your chemotherapy, your metformin, your blood pressure drugs, everything. And that just opened up my world. Because when you're looking, even today, researchers are actually evaluating carvacrol, which is the primary component in oregano, to potentially help with COVID. They're like, well, we do know that carvacrol has wonderful benefits with killing, literally like annihilating bacteria, like antibiotic resistant bacteria, like MRSA. We know that oregano can help with viruses. We know that oregano can help, and carvacrol can help with fungi. What about looking at this specific line and this specific COVID thing? And that's where I play. So I say that, especially in the context of using the word COVID and the pandemic, to put things into perspective, that we don't make wild claims. We're not saying don't take medicine, only take essential oils. But I want just us to have a healthy respect and understanding that when you get this bottle, and I'm holding up a bottle for those of you who are listening, if you're watching, you see it, this little bottle here is literally liquid medicine, and it should be treated as such. You just don't drink drops in your mouth. You just don't slather it on your skin. Like, because it's not guarded, in a sense, gated through a pharmacy, anyone can pick this stuff up. I've seen such rampant misuse. That's why so many people have gotten hurt. But I've also seen people that learn how to use them, their lives transform. And because of that, 7 years later, 3 books later, I find myself continuing to learn, continuing to study, and I just love the topic. And I'll end with this because it's a wonderful way of incorporating and introducing someone to natural living practices. Anyone, virtually anyone, can afford, hopefully, a bottle of lavender, even a $10 bottle of lavender, and put 2 or 3 drops in a diffuser next to your nightstand and help you sleep better at night. Like, that is super easy to do. Zero, very few, if not zero, restrictions. And if I could help people start to sleep better, maybe feel better, right? Start to do other things. Maybe now they'll look at, maybe I can affect health another way. So it's a wonderful way of introducing people to natural medicine. Super easy, very effective. And we love it.
Yes, I love it too. As you see, I've got my diffuser in the background over here with some orange in it right now.
Me too, actually. Me too.
I love it. And so let's really dive into, essential oils for hormones and fertility. How can these wonderful natural, medicines help us with these things?
Yeah. I mean, let me ask you a question. Because I actually wrote about libido, and erectile dysfunction in my last book. I wrote about, fertility, interestingly enough, in my first book, I found it was really interesting to see that certain essential oil compounds had an effect on animal studies. We don't know really what it does for adults because we haven't done those research studies yet. But I'm just curious, from your perspective, when it comes to like working with your clients, have you found what are the number one or two, maybe three, consistent common denominators, the root causes of people that are really battling infertility? Do you have an observation from that?
Yeah, a lot of it comes down to hormones. There's a hormone that's off. Some of it is,
Yep.
A thyroid is off, even
Yep.
if it's a little bit subclinical, sometimes it's some levels of like vitamin D, magnesium. So that's a big thing with hormones being off. The other thing is a lot of people have jacked up cycles, like they're not cycling or they're having irregular cycles or they're not ovulating. And so, that's really what I try to work on here is helping to balance out those hormones, helping to balance out the cycle and have it to be healthy. But those are probably the two main things I see with most of my clients.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I asked that because I wanted a springboard.
Yeah.
Because when we talk about hormone balancing, it's very complicated in that, and even vitamin deficiency is very complicated. I'll never forget, as a chiropractor, something interesting, maybe most people don't know this, but as a chiropractor, I went through, what was it? 900 hours of nutrition training.
Wow.
Which is exceptional, but that is extreme considering that like your medical doctor gets 0.
Right.
In med school.
Yeah.
In nutrition, I was introduced to functional nutrition. I was introduced to functional medicine. And I'll never forget our professor explaining to us, like, look, just because you might be deficient in vitamin C, for example, doesn't mean that you need to take a vitamin C supplement. Like that's everything I've never heard. Like, why would you say that? And he started to explain to us, and this is like the whole concept behind functional medicine and personalized nutrition. Same thing with oils, by the way. Mm-hmm. So I'm mentioning this is because everything interacts with each other. Mm-hmm. So maybe there is a deficiency in vitamin D, he mentioned, because of an excess of magnesium. Mm-hmm. Or an excess of another vitamin. And it's not as simple as, oh, I have low levels of this, therefore I need to take this. Why I mention that and why that's important to this discussion, especially with something so complicated as fertility and hormone balancing, is because we need to look at a different way of healing that I also learned, known as it's a vitalistic philosophy. We are focused more about giving our body things that our body needs to heal itself versus trying to actually manipulate the body in a way that all drugs do. For example, like if you have low estrogen, you take a drug to give you more estrogen. It basically is estrogen, or it hijacks your body and forces your body. And that's a big problem with dopamine, and a big problem with serotonin, a big problem with other mental health drugs, is that they're literally like hacking the body into forcing your body to do something. Same thing with thyroid drugs, like thyroxine. You'll end up, your thyroid will atrophy eventually if your body isn't naturally producing the drug or the hormone. Mm-hmm. So I mention that because in this vitalistic philosophy, essential oils fit really, really wonderfully in that they're known as harmonizers. Actually, research, I cover that in the last book, The Essential Oils Apothecary. I cover this concept of harmonization. It's literally in the research. It's like in the studies. And they evaluated 2 oils specifically, researchers, ylang-ylang, which is wonderful, by the way, for hormone balancing. But notice how I said hormone balancing, not hormone increasing, right? Not hormone decreasing. I think it's important. Balance your weight, balance your blood sugar, balance your blood pressure. And they found that oils like ylang-ylang will help people with hypotension, low blood pressure, and hypertension, high blood pressure. balance. Like
Wow.
that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like that's completely counterintuitive to anything that we've ever learned about how drugs work. Well, they're not a drug. And that's not how plant medicine works. And the reasons why is going even deeper. What I asked, like, what were the root causes? Maybe I should have specified what you actually gave me were the root mechanisms. What caused those mechanisms, though? What is causing hormone imbalance? Like, let's go a layer deeper. So I share that because this is where essential oils play. And this is why they're called harmonizers. This is also same concept of adaptogenic herbs and mushrooms and other foods. Adaptogenic, they help your body adapt. At the core, oftentimes, it's inflammation and uncontrolled. But inflammation isn't the root mechanism. It's the cause of the mechanism. So it's in a simplified version, uncontrolled inflammation can lead to hormone imbalance, which can then lead to infertility, right? Inflammation is the cause. Hormone balance is the mechanism, the actual thing that actually prevents fertility. So when we go deeper, that's why it almost doesn't matter what your health condition is in this concept. And it doesn't matter what hormones are not balanced properly. If you do the right things, you'll find that the body will start to heal itself. That is hopefully not confusing. If it is, it might help to pause and rewind 2 minutes to get this. And maybe I'll say it this way. If we could stop the cause of whatever is being linked to an undesirable health effect, then the body will start to heal. And just by and large, you mentioned thyroid, you mentioned fertility, you mentioned hormones. I can't have a number. I don't know the number. No one knows the number. But talking to my friends who work with patients at the high level, many folks are looking at 9 out of 10. It's caused by rampant inflammation. But then, like, what's the link? Why? Is it the food? Is it the medicine? Is it the emotional stress? Is it the environmental toxins? The answer is all of it.
I was going to say all of that.
It's not all. It's not one. So going to ylang-ylang again, perfect example, a known harmonizer. You'll find yourself just inhaling ylang-ylang, applying it topically with the salves and the roller bottle remedies and things that we recommend. Your body will start to restore itself. It will start to have its own internal homeostasis, peace, internal balancing. And so it's a different approach. Yes, we have studies, clary sage, geranium. Yes, we have studies that test, though, will these oils, ingesting them, applying them topically, inhaling the vapors, will that help lower cortisol levels? Yes. Like that's the study that has been done. But because these oils are anti-inflammatory, many of which are rich in antioxidants, extremely high. Like I've heard reports and I've seen like clove, you can't find a food or a supplement on the planet to have the same antioxidant quality as clove oil.
Wow.
I mean, it is through the roof. I've seen reports up to 1 million ORAC points, ORAC scale, like ORAC meaning the level of antioxidants, like wild blueberries, for example, depending on the source and all that. You're looking at 5, 7, whatever, 1,000 ORAC points, like wild blueberries. Great, right? Well, 1 million.
Wow.
That's clove oil. So we're talking about pure concentrated plant-based medicine that has a wonderful punch, anti-inflammatory, rich in antioxidants. They're technically known as bioactive compounds. They're non-nutritive. There's no nutrition in it, right? No vitamins, no minerals, no fats, carbs, proteins, none of that stuff. So you're looking at this. So it's a different way. Why I'm sharing that and why I'm sharing this is, to me, with something so complicated, and I'm very respectful because I know that we've had many people share, I can't have babies, I want to have a baby, or when again, this gamut of hormone problems, like thyroid problems or this problem, that. I understand it's very complicated. No one has the answer, but I can give you something I can guarantee. And there's very few guarantees in life, right? Death, taxes, and what else? The guarantee I could give you is if you start making simple changes to your life and start to focus on reducing your overall toxic load by what you put on your body through body care and makeup, by what you clean with, by what you're inhaling in the air, throwing away the aerosols and the plug-ins and the poo-poo sprays, and being careful with what you eat. Like, I could promise you, your body will start to heal. I can't promise you a result, but I'll tell you, it's a fact. Your body will start to regenerate. Your body will start to get to this point where inflammation reduces and the immune system starts to function better. It's like how many wrenches are in the engine preventing this thing from moving. And so if there's one thing, again, I could promise you, you will start to feel better. You'll start to think clearer. You'll start to have a little more energy. Your libido will start to improve. You'll start to lose a little bit of weight. You'll start to have more, just sleep better, love better, live better. Because your body is like, I have 5 kids and I've seen purity. And it's as an infant, just a pure baby, nothing, just baby, boom. And over the years, I've seen how just life and food and just environmental toxins kind of wears a person down. So I only have 13 years of study with my daughter because she's 13, but we also have a 1-year-old and 3 kids in the middle. But I'm telling you something, I've seen how quickly the babies heal and respond, even to like a little cut. The baby just accidentally bonked his head. Boom. Within like a couple hours, the bruise is away. Like, take my wife and I a week. Right? Just think about that.
Yeah.
What happens? It really is the wear and tear of the body. And so all that to say is this. Here's what I'm trying to sell you on. I'm trying to sell you on an essential oil lifestyle. I call it. I'm trying to sell you on this natural living lifestyle. I'm trying to sell you on this idea that little by little, one by one, piece by piece, again, whether it's your body care, your cleaning products, your smelly stuff, whether it is the clothes that you put on your skin, what you eat, what you drink, whatever, how you think, how you manage stress, your coping mechanisms, all this stuff, is that as you start to adopt healthy, non-toxic versions of that, which, by the way, essential oils play a part in all of it, then you will start to feel better and heal, and hopefully you'll get the end result that you're looking for. And when I share essential oils, no, they're not the end all, but what do you think flavors your Coca-Cola? What do you think makes your cleaning products so effective? What do you think's in your body care and anything in the world that says fragrance or flavor? I mean, people don't realize it, but essential oils are everywhere. You're eating them all day long. You don't even know it. You're using them all day long. It's either you're using the real deal or a synthetic version. And chances are you're using synthetic version, which also is probably part of the toxic problem. That's why synthetic fragrances are so dangerous to people. Literally linked to neurological inflammation, causing Alzheimer's, dementia, even thyroid problems, autoimmunity, and I'm sure will contribute to infertility. So there's a reason, as we see the data, especially in infertility and hormone imbalance, why we just see a constant influx, a constant rise. And as we look through how we've lived, ever since the advent of the antibacterial products and the antibacterial soaps and lotions and things, right? 30, 40, 50 years ago, which are now commonplace everywhere, you start to see like the more toxins, the more chemicals that people are introduced to, the more the cumulative damage has affected our health. Because drinking, we could argue all day long about fluoride, but drinking a glass of fluoride ain't going to kill you. Or drink a glass of fluorinated water, but if you drink fluorinated water your whole entire life, well, studies suggest that could actually be potentially dangerous. It's the bioaccumulation. Then when you add chlorine to the water and the other stuff, and then when you add the phthalates to your body care and all this other stuff, all this stuff are hormone disruptors, by the way. Should have mentioned that 10 minutes ago. When you're looking at phthalates and body care and cleaning products, these are hormone disruptors. Why? Because at the very core, again, why? We could say that's the root mechanism, but what's the root cause? Inflammation.
Right.
And I mean, inflammation is the catch-all word. It's saying your body doesn't know what this is. It sees it as a threat and it stimulates immune function. And that's okay. You want that. You want inflammation. You want when you cut yourself accidentally, like I do when I'm slicing potatoes or something, you want your body to be inflamed. You want, because that stimulates healing. But if I keep on cutting myself the same place nonstop, that's going to cause a problem. Mm-hmm. And that's really what people are dealing with internally. Is constant, nonstop immune response through inflammation. It wears and tears. And also, by the way, this is a big deal for people that can't lose weight. You're not giving your body a chance to properly digest, assimilate food, and burn fat. When your metabolism is being compromised, the energy that you need to require your cellular function, that really is what your metabolism is. When your metabolism is being compromised by constantly trying to ward off the chemicals and the vectors and all the things that we're being exposed to, the stress, the anxiety, the inflammation, it has no ability to properly manage your own weight. That's why so many people that kind of take this natural living lifestyle model, they literally just start losing weight. They don't exercise. They don't even eat differently. Just by changing body care, just by changing cleaning products, just by doing some small little tweaks here and there, they're like, my body's functioning better. Yeah. So that's the long answer to the very short question of how essential oils can play a role. This is a very, very complicated situation with hormones and fertility. If you were to ask me about headaches, okay, peppermint, put a peppermint in the back of your head with some olive oil. Different. Yeah. That's easy. Pain, nausea, that kind of stuff, sleep, easy stuff. Like that's symptom stuff. But when you're dealing with deep, significantly complicated healthcare concerns, you have to treat them like that.
Mm-hmm. But I love that you mentioned the fact of inflammation, because that really is the root of everything. And whether it be fertility issues, hormonal disruptions, cancer, all these chronic diseases. And so, really focusing on cutting the inflammation and helping your body to do that, I think is the key to all of this. And essential oils play a huge role in that. Yeah. So let's talk about that a little bit more. For those of us who have never used essential oils, I'm not included in that. I love my essential oils, but some people listening haven't. So kind of walk us through exactly what they're doing in the body.
Yeah. I'll even give everyone listening at this point, if you are the brave and if you've lasted this long, I'm going to give you a little blessing. This is from my first book. It's called The Harmonizing Massage Oil. Here's a recipe for you. Start with 2 ounces of evening primrose oil, which is a well-known women's health oil. Evening primrose oil, helping naturally balance hormones. Take 2 ounces of that as your carrier. Get 15 ounces of ylang ylang, 10 drops of sandalwood, those 2 known harmonizers I mentioned, 10 drops of clary sage, and 10 drops of lavender. I would encourage you, look at this as your after shower moisturizer. Try it. And see, just use it as a way of incorporating essential oils. And to segue into your question, like what are them, or what are they, and how are they best used, and how do they interact with the body? Essential oils are lipophilic, hydrophobic. They're water-hating, fat-loving, volatile organic compounds. Volatile meaning they readily evaporate at ambient temperature. That's why when you open up a bottle on one side of the room, you could smell it 10 feet away, because the particles are literally being emitted and evaporating out. And then the physical particles are in the air. So when you put your nose into a rose and you smell a beautiful rose, you're literally smelling a physical particle that tells your nose, hey, there's something here. And that stimulates the olfactory system, which then causes a wonderful neurological cascade of all kinds of different fun little things we can talk about, because your limbic system is what controls your memory, your mood, your emotions, even your autonomic function, like heart rate, breathing rate. That's why when you smell, let's say, smoke in your house, let's say you have a little bit of a kitchen issue and you burn pancakes and you smell smoke, well, your heart's going to race, bum, 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 because that's a danger. Smoke's a danger. You don't want to have smoke in the air. So the brain says, hey, this is not good. stimulates that sympathetic fight or flight response. Like, look, I just saw that saber-toothed tiger. Oh, my house is burning down. Oh, this is dangerous. That creates shortness of breath, heart rate. It takes the blood from the extremity or from your central part of your body, your core, into the extremities. Like, you don't need to worry about digesting your food when you're trying to save your life because, your house is on fire. So your blood goes to the extremities. You're ready. You're on target. Your fight or flight, right? So that's stimulated by what you smell. Think about that. That's stimulated by what you smell. And that could also be flipped on its head. So if you smell something calming, relaxing, that will stimulate the parasympathetic system, that rest, the digest. That's why for so many people struggling in the bedroom, and this is something we talk about actually in our last book, libido, erectile dysfunction, is getting you to calm down, because it's really, really hard for a man, especially, to perform sexually when they're stressed. Mm-hmm. I mean, just physiologically, we know that to get an erection, a man needs to be in that parasympathetic state. And to ejaculate, that's a sympathetic boom shot. And I'll never forget P.U.Z.Z.L.E. Parasympathetic, sympathetic. I learned this in endocrinology. And P.U.Z.Z.L.E, point and shoot. So think, and women, if you want your men to calm down, if you want your man to perform, if you want to help him perform, if you want to encourage him, men, if you're listening, if you're struggling, if you have performance issues, chances are you are wired too wound and you need to relax. And that's where some essential oils can really help. You just literally just decompress, get into that different mindset, literally stimulate that parasympathetic system. Mm-hmm. And now you're in a situation where now you can hopefully perform. This all can help wonderfully with premature ejaculation and all these other things. Same thing with women, right? So that's through just smell. Mm-hmm. But going back, because essential oils are lipophilic, hydrophobic, fat-loving, water-hating, they're transdermal. So look at essential oils like you would your nicotine patch or your pain patch. Like, medicine has taken advantage of these patch routes. It's very effective. Who wants to take a pill all the time? Right. Well, it's easy. I'll just put a patch on my arm or on my foot, on my leg. Essential oils are transdermal. They'll penetrate through your skin, and they will be detected, the chemicals in the oils, like menthol. Maybe a lot of people have heard of menthol. People have heard of maybe pinene. Many others. There's camphor, I already mentioned. There's eugenol. There's all kinds of different wonderful chemicals in the oil. But they'll be detected in your bloodstream within 5 to 10 minutes, depending on, the research I've seen. Like, if you want a systemic full body approach to medicine, you want stuff in your blood. That way it circulates. That's where essential oils can come into play when you apply them topically. Wow, that's pretty profound. And then ingesting. And we teach people how to do this wisely. Again, like I mentioned early on, we respect these oils. I mean, there's a healthy fear. Just like how we want to put a healthy fear in my kids not to put their hand on the hot stove. I mean, there's a healthy fear. So just, look at essential oils like you would your super expensive kitchen knives that you just bought, right? You're like, wow, these things are going to cut my tomatoes really nice and easy. But if you trip up, you're going to cut yourself good. Right. Be careful. They're wonderfully effective. But that's where ingesting oils, we always recommend through a capsule form, just like how you would ingest a medicine or any sort of pill. We have the remedies for a lot of different things in the book. But now you're treating them like medicine, and you're using them in a medicinal dose. So 3, 4, 5, 6 drops in a capsule, that's a truly medicinal dose. Like, we're trying to have a therapeutic effect. Putting a drop, like this harmonizing oil, that's on the stronger end, but it's still a minor therapeutic dose. Like, this is something. When you inhale the essential oils, it's minor. I mean, it can have an effect, but it's not like taking a concentrated amount like you would in medicine. So I look at things in a scale of therapeutic efficacy. There's a culinary way. You could add a drop of like lime or cilantro to your guacamole. Yeah, it's very, very minor therapeutic, but it has a wonderful flavor to it. It helps. It adds great antioxidant boost, like all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking at treating a condition, then you need that therapeutic effect. to it. It's kind of maybe the difference of looking at an over-the-counter drug versus a pharmaceutical, like that you need a prescription for, like a Vicodin versus like an Advil. So, but the nice thing is you have the ability of creating that whatever. Like that's how we dose it. So you at your fingertips, you could have your over-the-counter version, or hey, you know what? I'm going to up the dose. I'm going to have a Vicodin version now.
Right.
You can do that. You have the power, which is wonderful, because now that power comes back to you that, quite frankly, we've given away to medicine. We've given away to, I should not say medicine, but we've given away to the medical system, the pharmaceutical system. We're kind of taking that back now. So that's where we're trying to help people navigate. And it really all boils down to dose. So going back to Coca-Cola, again, what do you think flavors your Coca-Cola? I'll guarantee you're not getting 5 drops of essential oil in a can. You're getting parts per million.
Right.
That's the difference. It's dosing. So yes, you are ingesting essential oils all day long and you didn't even realize it. Cool. But it's not affecting your health. Of course not. It's just little parts per billion. But that's where we teach you how to affect your health.
I love it. It's amazing. And I love that you mentioned too about just calming down in the bedroom. I have a lot of clients that talk to me about that, trying to make a baby and maybe you've struggled and that's kind of in the back of your husband or partner's head. Yep. And so they have the performance anxiety pop up and, so just calming down, maybe sniffing some of these calming oils and just really creating that experience in the bedroom is so super important. So I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
I love it.
I got some recipes. You want a recipe on that?
Sure.
Hey, how about we talk about something that's a big complaint with our community. We have a large community of women who are menopausal, postmenopausal.
Yep. I'm going to pause you right there though, because we are going to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors, but we're going to hold that as a cliffhanger. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. And we're back. Dr. Z, all right. What you got for us?
So estrogen levels ebb and flow during a woman's life. And oftentimes during perimenopause, menopause, postmenopause, a lot of women just hit low estrogen levels and they're trying to balance that. They're trying to figure out why. A common unfortunate side effect of low estrogen is vaginal atrophy, vaginal dryness, which makes it extremely difficult to have sex or want to have sex. Like, why don't you want to have sex? And if the answer is it hurts, it's not enjoyable, let's fix it. Because it shouldn't hurt. It should be enjoyable, right? Yep. And so part of it, and so I'm going to give you our gentle lubricant. Because these oils, again, going back to what we talked about, known harmonizers, known to help the body. They're not estrogenic. So don't worry. I get this all the time. I already hear the questions. I'm going to answer before you ask. If you have breast cancer, right, HER2 positive or estrogen dominant, any sort of cancer, you don't have to worry about it. At oils, and this is straight from the safety manual, straight from the aromatherapists who devoted their lives to this stuff. Essential oils are not estrogenic. Again, they help your body reach internal harmony. And they're not going to my body's not going to produce a bunch of estrogen. I'm going to get more cancer. Don't worry about that. According to everything that we know. Take 3 drops of geranium, 3 drops of lavender, 3 drops of Roman chamomile if you got it, and 3 drops of ylang-ylang. And then you get 2 ounces of an oil base, a carrier oil, something, whether olive oil, coconut oil. We have a bunch of different varieties that we talk about in our books, like jojoba, whatever. But you take that. This is a wonderfully effective lubricant. It helps. especially coconut oil. I would say as a default, coconut oil is a good one. It's antibacterial, antifungal. It's viscous, and you can even, it can be hardened in a sense. Like if your room, I'm thinking room temperature, I forget what it is, 70 degrees or something, it hardens. So it can even be a little thicker if you want something thicker, without like a cream. But right there, boom, like that right there can help as a lubricant, but maybe help start to balance what's going on there, even balance the vaginal flora, microflora, even balance maybe what's happening with some hormones. But this is also a nice blend to put over your abdomen. I would encourage women to put it over their ovaries, over their core. It's a wonderful smell, a great body moisturizer as well. But this right here, as an approach to help with one aspect, but there's so many different things when it comes to certain oils that are known as libido enhancers, like aphrodisiacs, rose. There's a reason why even the Bible talks about spices, and I perfumed my bed with aloe and cinnamon and myrrh, and there's a reason why the ancients have used that. I mean, it's literally stimulates the body to want to make love. And so there are a lot of different oils. And most of the oil brands that you'll see out there have a quote, like whatever they call it, not sex blend, but I call ours a sensual blend, or, between the sheets or fun, whatever it might be. But oils, just to throw out there, rose and jasmine, clary sage, I mentioned, ylang ylang, neroli, fennel, lavender, cinnamon bark. This is interesting about cinnamon bark. Let me kind of pause again for the guys here. I'll never forget learning again, going back to that PNS, point and shoot, parasympathetic, sympathetic example. Our endocrinology teacher explained to us a study that really was profound. And this was before I even got involved with essential oils. This is a long time ago. And she explained how they evaluated different aromas and the effect that certain aromas had on men in libido, sex drive. They found that the pumpkin pie spice, and for those people who are not from America, what that is, and I didn't realize that. Our Australian readers like, what's pumpkin pie? We don't have that here. What's pumpkin pie spice? Pumpkin pie spice is a collection of cinnamon, nutmeg, clove, allspice, ginger, depending on, it's like a curry. Like there is no one recipe for curry, like there is no one recipe for pumpkin pie, but cinnamon is a commonality. Cinnamon bark essential oil is a known aphrodisiac. Interesting. So what can you do, right? Add a couple drops of cinnamon. If you got ginger, if you got maybe orange in there. I mean, and this has also been evaluated in animal studies as well. And specifically though, they injected animals, rats, with cinnamon bark, cinnamaldehyde, which out of all the different components, cinnamaldehyde is the primary component, cinnamon bark, and it helped impotent rats with erectile dysfunction.
Wow.
I mean,
who knew?
Yeah, right? I'm not saying inject yourself, but the thing is, here's how this applies to me. If you're looking, this is my matcha latte. This is my morning jam. I love this thing.
Love it.
I have the recipes on our website. If you want a free recipe, go to naturallivingfamily.com. I love matcha green tea. But what I do is I'll add like 2 drops of cinnamon bark and 2 drops of peppermint to that. And that's how I do it. That's how I do essential oils, by the way. It's in everything. It's our way of life. It's our flavor, it's our smell, it's our medicine when we need it. I have it. So when we got sick, I got my oregano capsules, and I'm adding, our triple infection blend that we talk about in the book. Like I know what to do in case I need medicine, but I like this constant influx of healthy volatile organic compounds because I used to be constantly inundated with the harmful stuff. So again, as a guy, maybe, but guess what? Cinnamon also does. It helps balance blood sugar, helps curb appetite. Peppermint is satiating. Peppermint is an energizer. Peppermint helps with breathing. Like, I just love the flavor. Cinnamon and peppermint are just great flavors anyway. So anyway, that's how I do it. That's how we live this life. But if I were to be like, okay, let me create, and I do it, it's not witchcraft. by the way. I'm a Christian. I don't do witchcraft.
Yes.
But if I want to manipulate maybe the environment in the room, if I'm trying to help my wife maybe get into that mood, I'll set the stage.
Yes.
I'll set the stage. I got the diffusers on with the smells I know that she likes. I'll get the massage oil. I'll rub her feet, rub her neck. I mean, to be real, we have sometimes lovemaking and having a successful, maybe that's an interesting word to look at it, having a successful love life, thinking of it like that takes work and takes effort. And just like how you put work and effort into your fitness or your business or into whatever, we have to do that. And I find that, again, nothing in the world can create the mood, the environment, right? Get a little music, whatever it is. It's a whole experience. But just knowing that these oils can help you, it's truly empowering. It's truly empowering.
I love it. And we could talk about this all day. I could go for another hour, but we do have to wrap up. So tell us about your book. Where can we find it? Where can we learn more about you and, working with you and your team?
Yeah, thank you again, Coach, for having me on. This has been fun. Actually talking about something I don't get a chance to talk about. I don't think a lot of podcast hosts are brave enough and TV hosts are brave enough. Everyone just wants to talk about the same thing. Immunity, depression. No offense to that. We need to know that stuff. So thank you again for having me. And thanks everyone for listening, tuning in. The book, The Essential Oils Apothecary, is available everywhere books are sold. And if you want to buy a copy, we have a thank you gift. And you go to eoapothecary.com. Just get the book and fill out the form. All I need is your email, and I'm going to send you a thank you gift, which includes 6 hours of my wife and I making 17 of the recipes in the book, including the sensual blend, talking about them in a much more in-depth way because we have 6 hours to talk. Yeah. And we have recipe cards and PDFs and all kinds of good things to help you get the most out of this. Again, go to eoapothecary.com.
I love it. And we'll put that in the show notes. So it'll be really easy to find. Thank you for that free gift. Like I said before, I've been reading the book. It's amazing. I love it. I'm trying some of the recipes. So thank you for writing that. It's truly been a great thing. So before we close, I would love to hear any final thoughts, anything you want to leave us with, words of encouragement or piece of advice for our audience.
If there's one thing that I learned in this experience, since the 2020, now 2021 health crisis, and God knows how long this is going to last, right? I'm assuming if you're listening to this in 2022, the waves of COVID are still affecting us in the future, is that we really have a lot more control over what we might think we don't have control over. And at the very least, I can't stop what's happening around me, but I could really influence how I respond and how I live. And I've used the word empowering a few times, and I don't want it to be cliche, but it truly is an empowering lifestyle when you know how to grow your own food. And I don't care if you live in a 1-bedroom apartment, you could still grow tomatoes in a pot. No joke. I mean, we've done it. I mean, it's fun to know you can make your own medicine. Really cool that you don't have to worry about the store shelves being empty for hand sanitizer because you know how to make your own. And by the way, you save money.
Nope.
But just knowing that we do have the power to create, quite frankly, the reality that we want. And I want to encourage everyone with this: make your home a healthy, holy, wonderfully healing place. It should be a place that you want to be. It should be a place that you want to stay at. And you have that ability through what you smell, through what you see, through what you listen to. You have the ability to at least absolutely control that. Right? Outside, okay. I'm at the mercy of outside. I'm at the mercy of the store, man. I'm at the mercy of whatever. But just know. And if there's anything my wife and I could do to help you out, check out our website at naturallivingfamily.com. We have like hundreds of recipes and DIY little trinkets and all kinds of fun little stuff. Just start. Start small. Start slow. Enjoy the process and enjoy the abundant life.
I love it. Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Z. It's been so fun getting to know you. And like I said, I could talk about this for hours. So thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Podcast. Until next time, bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at coachkayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at coachkayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.